If everything plays out the way I think it will, Spurs fans, our Spurs will be a defensive nightmare for opposing teams for the next decade.
Go Spurs go, 'cause the Giants stay.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Our Spurs play the Rockets again tonight. And real quick, a unique situation for old TSR. I have the rare opportunity to see all three of my teams win or lose tonight. The Spurs are playing, the Yankees are playing in the World Series, Giants on Monday Night Football versus the Steelers. Anyway, I digress. Found an article from Air Alamo today that I want to share with you, realizing just how devastating Castle will make the Spurs defense. Let's get into it. In just 2 games, and it's really not just 2 games. Yes, 2 NBA regular season games, but we've seen Castle in the preseason and summer league, so we have a bigger sample size. But in those games, Stephon Castle has shown San Antonio fans exactly why he'll be a game changer for our Spurs. Castle's impact on the floor, especially when paired with Wemby, has already given opposing offenses major headaches. Okay? Castle's poise and defensive skill set shows he's more than ready for the spotlight. There's a reason Pop had trusted him to defend high-level players like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in his first few games. He's earning his stripes fast. I could not agree more. Castle's confidence on defense was on full display in the game against Houston. Late in the fourth quarter, that's right, Castle was playing at the end of the game. I was a little shocked to see him in there at the end, but was very happy Pop was trusting him already. It was great to see him get the chance. Late in the fourth quarter, the Rockets attempted a pick and roll with Castle guarding the ball handler and Wemby covering the screener. The result was a 4-shot-clocking beating he had no chance going in from the moment it left the Rocket players' fingertips. Castle and Wemby have already displayed an impressive synergy shutting down pick-and-roll actions that typically work against other defenses. With Castle's ability to stifle ball handlers and Wemby's daunting presence in the paint, San Antonio's defense has a bright future. Agree. Let's keep going. In these early matchups, Castle's proven that the moment isn't too big for him. Pop's decision to put him on the court in late game scenarios signals a huge level of trust, and it's easy to see why. Stephon Castle will eventually take on a starting role, and when that time comes, San Antonio could be deploying a lineup with Castle, Jeremy Sochan, and Wemby, a terrifying defensive trio. Castle brings a unique mix of size, athleticism, and defensive IQ. Sochan has already established himself as a fierce defender, and the whole league knows Wemby is looming like winter is coming. Okay, I just started thinking of Game of Thrones there a little bit. The Spurs, this is an interesting one. Check this out. The Spurs' decision to draft Castle is already looking like a steal. A steal for a 4th-round pick? What? Which says something when you selected him at number 4. It's likely the league will regret letting him fall into San Antonio's hands, but I mean, what? You take the player that's going to help your team the most. I mean, I didn't see Castle going in the top 3. I thought there was a legit chance for us to take him at 4, and we got him at 4. We'll see how it plays out, right? A player with his defensive chops, combined with other young talents on this roster, is going to give opposing offenses nightmares for years to come. Yes, I agree 100%. As Castle continues to develop alongside Wemby, the Spurs could very well be building a foundation of the league's next elite defense. And I'm sure some folks are going to chime in saying, but TSR, the Spurs blew that 22-point lead, whatever it was, during that game. It wasn't all because of these 3. There's still some issues on the team defensively. But we also have some positives besides Castle, Wemby, and Sochan. Champagnie and Wesley have shown to be good defenders as well. Bassi, when healthy, is a very capable shot blocker and rebounder, so there are building blocks on our San Antonio Spurs. The only question really with Stephon Castle I have is his shooting. I, at this point, have no doubt about his above-the-rim game. He's had a few monster dunks in Summer League. I don't know if he had Summer League. Definitely in preseason. We already saw one against the Rockets, so we know he can get up and finish at the rim. He's not afraid of contact in the paint, and he will take it to a defender and throw it down. So we're good there. Sochan, the offensive consistency, that needs to be improved, but we've already seen Jeremy Sochan's willing to take the steps necessary to improve, even if it is ridiculous. He switched to 2-handed free throw shooting in the preseason. Wasn't working. Went right back to the one hand. He looks better so far, but it's only 2 games. Champagnie seems to have taken a huge turn. His regular season success has carried over into, or his preseason success has carried over to the regular season. So I have a lot of excitement to see what he's going to do this year. And of course, Wemby, we know he's going to be special. He's going to be able to do it on both ends of the floor. Probably the biggest question with these 3, since they're on the thumbnail and they're at least we're hoping they'll be the next big defensive 3, if you will. will the offense work with the three of them on the floor? Will there be major issues floor spacing where Wemmy's getting double teamed as defensive players just sag off of Castle and or Sohan? We'll see. But honestly, I think they're going to be okay. I think Castle and Sohan are both going to put the work in needed to get better with their shooting, and I think they're going to be fine on both ends of the floor. Let me throw this at you to close out the video. By year's end, Spurs fans, do you think, because I personally, and I've said this before on the channel, I think there's a good chance Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul may get traded before the All-Star break. We're going to take all the knowledge we can from them, just get as much, soak up like a sponge, as much knowledge as we can from both of them, and then trade them to a contender at the All-Star break. I think it's going to happen. I really do. Might not get much for them, but I think that's going to happen and be certainly beneficial for our young guys right now. Anyway, circle back. Could we see a starting lineup by the end of the season of Victor Wembanyama, Julian Champagnie, that's right, Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, and Stephon Castle? And is that lineup enough to be a playoff team, to be a successful playoff team? I don't know. I had my doubts on Julian Champagnie. Last year, I was certainly one of the folks that said he's not worthy to be a starter, but if he keeps playing like he is, he's shooting very well, he's being very aggressive shooting, and plays solid defense, could he actually be one of our starting forwards, either at the 3 or the 4? I don't know. It's an exciting time for Spurs fans, and at the very least, he's an extremely good backup now. He's a darn good backup. He could be our Kelman, the 6th man. He could be our 7th man. There's a lot of good things, a lot of excitement for the team. I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves talking about how we're going to be a great defense for the next decade, but I think the building blocks are there. And the Spurs are a darn good team at developing players, so I do think we have a foundation here defensively, and the offense is going to come around as well. And that's not just Sohan and Castle. Other guys are going to get more consistent too. Devin Vassell's got a little more consistent. Kellen is a 6th man, going to get more consistent. Even Wemby himself can't be out there chucking 8 threes, making only 1. I like a lot what I enjoyed much more what I saw him in the Rockets game than I did in the Mavericks game. So when there's some consistency, we got to remember this team is young. Isn't this still the youngest team in the NBA? We have so much to be excited for as Spurs fans. I'm driving around it a little bit now, but I'm just thinking about all the good things that are happening with this team. Castle is progressing much more quickly than I thought he ever would. Wemby's going to do Wemby things, and then seeing Champagnie just progress the way he is, I do feel Jeremy's going to have, maybe not a breakout year per se, but I think he's going to have a much improved year over last year and his rookie year. So many good things are going to happen. Yeah, we're going to have those games where we blow leads and lose the game because we're a young team, but in the end, there's going to be so much to build on this year, and that's what I want to focus. We are going to build a extremely solid foundation, plus all the draft picks we have coming in the future. I'm telling you, not this year, but next year, we are going to be a perennial playoff team again, and a new playoff streak is going to start. Calling it now. Drop a comment down below about anything we went over. Hit the thumbs up towards the channel. See you tonight in the live for the Rockets game. Unless you're watching the Yankees, or you're watching the Giants. I mean, they have nothing to blame. Anyway, I digress. Thank you, and as always, subscribe. I'm Conference Parts Community. Sorry, I'm pumped up for the season. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
And then you pass it to Wemby.